Good evening, everyone. This is JC De Guzman for our daily top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis for June 17, 2019, Monday. This is in preparation for the next trading day, Tuesday. So, tonight I'll be talking about ALLHC, Maxes, Web, PRIM, Surpass, PHEN, JGS, ABA, SHLPH, and Green. I'd like to remind the new listeners or the new subscribers that this video is for short-term trading purposes. If you're looking for some pieces of advice for long-term investing, please click on the long-term investing tab or take a look at our private clients forum in the forum tab. Okay, so let's begin with the first stock in our list. We have ALLHC. This stock closed today at 3.72. Support is at 2.83. Resistance is at 3.86. The main support is really at 2.20. This 2.83 that I have plotted here only acts as a midterm support level for ALLHC. I'd like to mention that this stock is already moving above the 10 SMA, and however, its MACD is yet to cross above the signal line. In other words, the conditions of our 10 SMA and MACD combination have not been met yet. They have not been satisfied yet. Well, at least that's how it is for the past how many that's how it is since June 10 or June 10, 2019. But the first the first time or the most recent uh, occasion that the conditions of the 10 SMA and MACD combo have been hit or were hit was last May 3. That was when the price was close to the midterm support at 2.8. So if you have had ALLHC before June 7, or at least before June, and let's say you applied at least a 5% risk tolerance, I think your trailing stop loss should have not been has not been hit yet. So you're still locked up on your ALLHC on a positive side. So foreign investors, on the other hand, they registered a net foreign selling worth 6 million pesos today. RSI is still giving ALLHC more room to challenge or to inch closer to the resistance at 3.86. The upward momentum remains strong. Let's check the trade and volume distribution chart of this stock to verify if the 4-point criteria are all present. So here, ALLHC. Let's check. It closed today at 3.72, and that price is one fluctuation away from the intraday high here. So the dominant range here is between 3.7 to 3.72. 3.7 to 3.72. I ask you to ignore 3.47. Perhaps you're asking me now, you would like to ask now, why should we ignore 3.47 if we are seeing about 35% of today's volume registered at that level? It's because I am 99.99% sure that a huge cross trade happened at this price. How did I say that, or why did I say that? Take a look at the percentage of the number of trades that was only registered at 3.47. It's an insignificant percentage of 1%. See? So a huge cross trade happened at 3.47. So we're going to disregard huge cross trades. They pollute our volume distribution, our price and volume distribution analysis. So we will concentrate on 3.7 to 3.72 being the dominant range for this stock. And with that, it's closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Therefore, the 4-point criteria are perfectly present on ALLHC. And I remain bullish on this stock. So if you have had, like what I have mentioned, if you have had ALLHC, you still have a data-driven reason either to hold your position, do nothing, or you can add more shares, but not at any price. Between 3.7, it should be between 3.7 to 3.72 if you would like to top up within the first, right after the opening bell. Of course, if the price starts at a, if this stock starts at a price lower than 3.7, you will have to do a fresh trade and volume distribution analysis, or let me repeat that, if it starts at a price lower than 3.7 or at a price higher than 3.72, you will have to do a fresh trade and volume distribution analysis. If you don't know yet, if you don't know how to do that yet, you can post a request in our private clients forum. Okay? Now, how about those who don't have ALLHC yet? Is there a data-driven reason to enter a new position? Well, signals are bullish on this stock. The only question now is, are you happy with your reward to risk ratio? Sir, what's a reward to risk ratio? This is the first time that I've heard that phrase. Okay, go back to the quick start guide. You will know the definition and how to calculate it and why you should calculate it. Unless and until you're happy with your reward to risk ratio, you should not do a test buy on any stock, even if my overall assessment and or analysis is bullish on that stock. Okay? So before you do a test buy, it's not enough that you get bullish signals. It's equally important that you are satisfied or happy with the reward to risk ratio that you got. Okay? Alright, so there you go for ALLHC. Next, Maxes. Maxes closed today at 13.6. Major support is at 9.46. Major resistance is at 16.0. There's a midterm support and resistance level at 11.84 and 13.90 respectively. Okay? And today, foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 25 million pesos. Maxes is moving above the 10 SMA, and MACD is also above the signal line. So, meaning to say, the conditions of our 10 SMA and MACD combination are both alive. Not both, but they are all alive or present on this stock. RSI is still quite distant from the classical overbought level. It gives Maxes more space to make an attempt to break above 13.90 for a chance to inch closer to 16 pesos per share. The positive DMI already registered a golden cross above the negative DMI, and the upward momentum is already inside a strong category or strong level. Let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart if the 4-point criteria are present. It closed today at 13.6, and the dominant range is between 13.56 to 13.7. That's in favor of the buyers. So I remain bullish on Maxes. If you're going to calculate your reward to risk ratio, I suggest that you use 16 pesos per share as your basis for the resistance, and for the support. For the support, it can be 11.84. Okay, 11.84 and 16 as your basis for the resistance when calculating your reward to risk ratio. This advice is specific for those who would like to ask if I also see a data-driven reason to advise for the new entrants to do a test buy. Okay, so I remain bullish on Maxes. You can top up and you can do a test buy within the dominant range that I have shown you. Next, Web. So Web closed today at 3.71. Support is at 2.54. Resistance is at 3.84. If it breaks above 3.84, it will make 5.93 as the next resistance area. Web is already moving above the 10 SMA. It has been the case since May, and MACD has already been moving above the signal line since May as well. Well, not just May, but since April. Okay, April. The The first entry price, or the first occasion, or the most recent occasion that the conditions of our 10 SMA and MACD combo were hit was when the price tested the support level at, or registered the support level at 2.54. That was in March, the last week of March. So if you have had web since the last week of March, by now I think you still have web, unless you locked in some profits, or unless your trailing stop loss was hit in the second week, or second or third week of May. But after that, a new entry price was again spotted around the third week or last week of May. So whether you have had web since the last week of March or the last week of May, you still have a data driven reason to either hold your position or top up. If you don't have web and you are planning to enter a new position, calculate your reward to risk ratio first. You can use 5.93 as your basis for the resistance area, while support is at 2.54. And by just looking at this picture on this chart, we can already tell that you will get a thicker or a more attractive potential reward than your potential risk. So you can do a test buy. Okay, let me show you the trade and volume distribution chart so you will know where to do a test buy or where to top up. 3.7 to 3.75. It's in favor of the buyer, so I am bullish on web. Okay, the upward momentum is already strong. RSI is close. It's about 10 points, 9 to 10 points away from the classical overbought level. I'm using 2080. Okay, 2080. Other platforms use 3070. I am using 2080 for my RSI. So for those who have had web, I'd like to mention that you may want to consider locking in some of your profits once the price touches 3.84 or 3.9. Okay, because profit taking might be the flavor of the day. Let's use that phrase. Once RSI hits the classical overbought level, the 3.84 to 3.9 perhaps. Okay. For those who are planning to enter a new position, please consider that possibility as well. What possibility? Again, the possibility of the traders activating the sentiment to do massive selling at 3.84 to 3.9. That's the possibility. Okay? But I remain bullish on web. Okay, next we have PRIM. Prime Media Holdings closed today at 1.26. Support is at 1.03. Resistance is at 1.53. 1.27 is the midterm resistance level for PRIM. MACD is moving above the signal line, and this is actually, I would say, this is a natural, inorganic ascent in price of these indicators. Okay, but yeah, this is an inorganic ascent in price. So I am not going to rely that much on what these indicators are telling us, because this erratic fluctuation in price affected the results of these indicators. Of course, what do you expect when the price, especially when the price registers, when the price gaps up? Of course, all of your indicators will point steeply to the northern toward the northern direction. Okay, so let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart. The dominant range is between 1.25 to 1.31. 1.25 to 1.31. It's in favor of the buyers, but what's my personal take on this? I'm not interested to trade PRIM. Okay, I'm not interested to trade PRIM. Basically, I'm not interested to trade stocks that registered, a gap, especially when there's no strong when it elevated its price in a non-organic way. Okay, non-organic way. This is not a natural ascent. So as much as possible, I want to reduce my risk by avoiding those stocks that surge in price in an unnatural way. There are many there are many stocks that we can choose from. It's not just PRIM. So even though the signals are bullish on PRIM, personally, my disclosure, I'm not interested to trade PRIM. Of course, when I'm not interested to trade a stock, why should I encourage you or tell you to, yeah, you can do a test buy? Why should I say that when I myself am not interested to trade the name, right? So I'm just sharing with you my personal assessment and sentiment toward this stock. Okay, it's up to you now if you would like to do a test buy. But I'd like to mention again and again that we got bullish signals because of an unnatural, unnatural ascent in price. Okay. Next, we have SHLPH. X closed today at 1.10. Support remains at 0.9. Resistance is at 1.35. It's already moving above the 10 SMA but still moving below the 50 SMA. There's a perfect bearish alignment among its three simple moving averages on the daily chart. On the other hand, MACD is still moving above the signal line. Therefore, SHLPH is bullish in the short term on the daily chart, but remains bearish in the long term on the daily chart. RSI is still quite away from the classical overbought level. The positive DMI, even though it's above the negative DMI, is still far from getting that strong upward momentum category. I think SHLPH will only get an ADX of 25 points and above once the price breaks above 1.35. Okay. Now, if you are interested to trade a stock that is moving sideways for as long as the 10 SMA and MACD combination, the conditions for that combo are true, and if you have the patience again to trade a sideways moving stock, then you can do a test buy on SHLPH. Okay, if you have that patience. Okay, it's hard to tell when will SHLPH get out of the consolidation phase. It could stay at this phase or in this phase for a few more weeks, months, or even days. We don't know. Okay, we don't know. What we know right now is that the conditions of the 10 SMA and MACD combo are true. However, SHLPH is still slipping inside the consolidation phase, and the upward momentum is not yet very strong. Okay, let me show you the trade and volume distribution chart. The dominant range is between 1.07 to 1.10 in favor of the buyers. You have a data-driven reason to do a test buy, but consider what I've mentioned previously about SHLPH. Okay. Next, we have PHEN. PHEN closed today at 2.48. Support is at 2.16. Resistance is at 2.77. I already talked about PHEN in the previous videos this month, and I remember that I mentioned in my previous videos that you should consider locking in your profits once the RSI hits the classical overbought level. Take a look at how other traders also interpreted that. They also considered locking in some profits at 2.8, near 2.75 to 2.8. So it really pays to know, it really helps to know how to read charts and to be guided by someone who knows how to read the charts, right? So here, the conditions of our 10 SMA and MACD combo have already been invalidated. There is no reason now to enter a new position yet. And if your trailing stop loss has not been hit yet, hold your position, don't top up. And by the looks of this size of the two previous daily volumes, I would suggest that you may want to consider preempting your trailing stop loss, meaning to say selling, locking in your gains even before your trailing stop loss gets hit. If you are half-hearted to sell at once, then you can maybe sell half or maybe sell a few tranches. If you really want to stick with your trailing stop loss instead of preempting it. Okay, the decision is yours. I'm just giving you some data-driven options. Okay, at the end of the day, you have to click the mouse. It will be you who will click the mouse. All right. The trade and volume distribution chart, here it is. The dominant range is between 2.48 to 2.58 in favor of the sellers. All right, I am bearish on PHEN already. JGS, the next stock. This index stock closed today at 61.7. Support is at 56.20. Resistance is at 69.60. It's already moving below the 10 SMA, and MACD is already downward sloping even though it's still moving above the signal line. Nonetheless, the conditions of our 10 SMA and MACD combo are no longer true in the case of JGS on the daily chart. It's bearish in the short term but remains bullish in the long term on the daily chart. Take note that the negative DMI has already crossed above the positive DMI, meaning to say there's already a switching of hands, switching in control between the bears and the bulls. So this is in favor of the bears already. RSI is already downward sloping as well. Foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 56 million pesos today, and they are starting to, I think they are still net foreign buyers for 2019 year to date. But if their appetite to continue their selling sentiment will continue for one more month, I think they will they will outpower or outweigh the net foreign buying days that they registered in the first quarter of the year. Okay, foreign investors have started to actively register net foreign selling days in the second week of May. Okay, and I by the looks of it, this the red candlestick today was heavily driven by the 56 million pesos worth of net foreign selling. So it was the foreign investors who drove JGS to register a red candlestick today. Let me show you the trade and volume distribution chart. The dominant range is between 61.7 to 62.05. That is in favor, or 61.7 to 62.5. I would consider the size of the trade over the size of volume here. Even so, this is in favor of the sellers. So I am bearish on JGS. If your trailing stop loss has not been hit yet, hold your position or preempt your trailing stop loss. Lock in your profits already, either at once or in a few tranches by selling in tranches. Now, if you're thinking of entering a new position, please don't. Not yet. Okay, not yet. At least you wait for the appearance of the 4-point criteria that I always mention in my daily videos. The 4-point criteria. At least wait for those 4 to become perfectly present. If you cannot wait for the satisfaction of the conditions of our 10 SMA and MACD combo. Okay? Sir, what's the importance of the satisfaction of the 10 SMA, the conditions of the 10 SMA and MACD combo, and the appearance of those 4-point criteria? When both conditions, when the 10 SMA and MACD combo is true, and when those 4-point criteria are present, you have a stronger or a higher conviction to trade the name. It will be more likely for the price to continue its ascent when those two are present. Okay? So in technical analysis, the more bullish signals you get, the higher is your conviction to say that, okay, based on my analysis, it's more likely for the ascent in price to continue when you have more bullish signals. or bullish conditions. Okay, so I hope you get that. All right, don't hurry. Always be data driven in your decisions. Instinct is good, but don't base majority of your just decisions on instinct alone. Okay, did I already show you the trade and volume distribution chart? Yeah, I did. Next, we have Abacor. Abacor closed today at 0.72, support is at 0.53, resistance is at 0.86. It's already still moving above the 10 SMA and MACD is above the signal line. RSI is quite distant from the classical overbought level. The positive DMI is above the signal line, or not signal line, but the negative DMI. However, the upward momentum is not yet very strong. I am seeing a perfect bullish alignment among the three simple moving averages of Abacor on the daily chart. What else? If your trailing stop loss has not been hit yet, then you can hold your position, but do not top up yet. Okay? Don't top up yet. Do I see a reason to preempt your trailing stop loss? Meaning to say, do I suggest that you sell even before even before your trailing stop loss gets hit? I don't see yet a strong, compelling reason to do that. Not yet. Okay, not yet. Let me show you the trade in volume distribution chart. The dominant range is between 0.7 to 0.73. Unfortunately, this is in favor of the sellers for today. That's why I have advised those who have Abacor whose trailing stop loss has not been hit yet to just hold their position and not to top up. How about those who don't have Abacor? If you don't have Abacor but you're thinking to enter a new position, please postpone that plan. Monitor, observe, watch Abacor for now. Add it in your watch list but not in your portfolio yet. Okay? Monitor. Sir, what should I watch out for as a go signal for me to do a test buy? Well, at least the appearance of the 4-point criteria. Once they are present, then you can do a test buy. But not at any price, okay? Make sure that you ask me if you don't know yet how to do your trade and volume distribution analysis. Ask me for the dominant range so that you know where to position, where to have a more strategic and logical position. Okay, I'm still bullish on Abacor. I'm still bullish on Abacor. Okay. Next, SHLPH. SHLPH closed today at 38.75. Support is at 43.70. No, not support. Resistance rather is at 43.75, and it's quite tough to identify a support for this stock right now. That's why I have plotted a down Fibonacci, and our psychological support is aligned to the 61.8% extension of the downward Fibonacci, which is at 31.6. Okay, the downward momentum is still very strong. Well, obviously by just looking at this chart, right? And RSI is already playing almost inside the classical oversold level. There's absolutely zero no buy signals. I don't see any buy signal on SHLPH. Okay, so watch it for now. I suggest adding SHLPH in your watch list because as soon as the 4-point criteria become present on SHLPH, I suggest you do a test buy. Okay, or better yet, wait for the satisfaction of the conditions of our 10 SMA and MACD combo. Once the conditions become present, check if the 4-point criteria are present. Once they are present, then do a test buy within the dominant range. It will be a very interesting to trade then. I'm very interested to trade stocks that went through a lot of that are already oversold, and if they have no volatility issues or volume related concerns, I'm interested to trade those stocks for as long as the conditions that I always mention to you are present. So I don't just blindly enter a new position on any stock. Okay, I get to have a data-driven reason first. Okay, so that I could clear any doubts that I might have, that I may have. Okay, so stay away from SHLPH for now, but add it in your watch list. I am interested to trade SHLPH for as long as the conditions of the 10 SMA and MACD combo are true, and for as long as the 4-point criteria are become present. Okay, remember that. I'm not saying you should trade SHLPH right away. And let me show you the trade and volume distribution chart. The dominant range is between 38.75 to 39 in favor of the sellers. Okay. Last in our list, we have green. This stock closed today at 2.34. Support is at 2.25. Resistance is at 2.9. If it breaks below 2.25, 1.43 is waiting at the bottom. If it breaks above 2.9, the next resistance would be 3.5. It's already moving below the 10 SMA, and MACD is already downward sloping even though it's still moving above the signal line. RSI is also downward sloping, but it's still quite distant from the classical oversold level. On the other hand, the negative DMI is already moving above the positive DMI, but the downward momentum is not yet very strong. So there's a possibility for the support to be respected again at 2.25, just like what happened in the last week of March and sometime in the last week of May. But let's see. It's not guaranteed that the support at 2.25 will forever be respected. If these traders have gone tired, once they have gone tired of respecting the support at 2.25, it's not impossible for them to sell down lower than 2.25 and retest 1.43. So that's why it's important that you should not trade green. You should not enter a new position in green for now. Monitor it for now. That's the only logical decision that you should do. Monitor it for now. If your bias is on green, monitor it for now. Don't trade yet. Don't buy more shares. Don't enter a new position yet. Okay. The dominant range is between 2.34 to 2.37 in favor of the sellers. It's all the more that you should not hurry in buying the stock. I am bearish on green. Okay? Alright, so you have heard my analysis, technical analysis, and overall sentiment and recommendations for these 10 stocks in preparation for the next trading day. By the way, I'd like to mention to you that I've already started today that during recess in our private clients forum under the short-term trading section, I publish the trade and volume distribution charts of the prevailing top 5 gainers and top 5 losers with the highest total turnover values, so that you have so that you can, if you have them, or if you are planning to trade them, at least you know what's the dominant range that you should monitor, or where you should trade them. Just like what I have mentioned in my notes, it's not guaranteed that the exact same 10 stocks will appear in the video, just like what happened today. Okay, just like what happened today. As of 12 noon this morning, the first top gainer based on total turnover value was Maxis. But today, right, just like what you see in this video, the top gainer, the number one top gainer was no longer Maxis, it was ALLHC already. Okay, so I hope you do appreciate this new initiative that we're doing in our private clients forum. And lastly, if you haven't attended the Evergreen Strategy in Trading the Philippine Stock Market seminar, I highly recommend that you attend that seminar. So because I'm really planning to use that as a prerequisite before subscribing to Equilist Analytics. That way you will surely understand the universe of this Equilist Analytics even before you subscribe. So now, if you already subscribed before attending that seminar, I suggest that you consider attending that seminar so you can really understand uh, what we're doing here. What am I thinking? How do I think? Why do I think that way? Etc. Okay, so if you are interested to know the schedule of that seminar, please click on the seminar section on our website. Right now, I have some seminars in Angeles, Baguio, Cebu, Davao, Iloilo, Cavite, and Makati. Okay? Alright, so again, my name is JC De Guzman. If you have follow-up questions, please ask in our private clients forum. Thank you and have a good day.